Thank you so much, Madam Chair and Vice Chair and other members. Appreciate you coming in today because it's not the easiest day to get here. So, but this is such an important topic. We know, you probably already know that suicide rates continue to rise. We have seen a 40% increase in the past 20 years across the United States. Suicide is a 100% preventable death. As in many medical situations with suicide, prevention is the best prescription. Mental health providers suggest that patients remove potentially effective suicide tools from their home and their workplace. Anything that causes a delay in acting on suicidal thoughts can be, and frequently have been, a lifesaver. Having to pause to go get something they don't have at hand and can be enough time to help a person in crisis stop, rethink, maybe go get some help. And by the way, anyone can get help anytime, any day, by calling the suicide hotline 988. Senate Bill 539 creates a new suicide prevention tool by adding a delay in acting on suicidal thoughts. And in this bill, directly slowing things down, particularly for those who are thinking of using the most effective suicide tool, which is a firearm. Suicide attempts made using a firearm are deadly in 9 out of 10 cases. And most successful suicides are carried out with firearms. 90% of suicide attempts with firearms result in death, and an average of just 5% of all other methods succeed. 90% of firearm deaths, 5% any other kind of attempt. Any kind of delay getting access to a method of suicide can save a life. Senate Bill 539 offers individuals the opportunity to help themselves avoid the temptation of buying a firearm to use it on themselves by requesting they be added to the National Do Not Sell list for firearms. The individual can request their local police or clerk add them to a temporary or an indefinite Do Not Sell list. Names on the temporary list stay for 180 days and then are automatically removed, while names on the indefinite list remain there unless and until the individual requests their name be removed. The only way a person can be put on the list is by themselves, and they can have their name removed from either list. This is a viable and helpful tool in other states, including Washington, Delaware, and Virginia. This is not a political issue, by the way. Simply not having fast, easy access to the tool that is most effective, most deadly, for vulnerable people considering suicide saves lives. Moving the most deadly method of suicide, the one with 90% death rate, farther away, giving them time to reconsider their decision or attempt with some other method far less likely to succeed, will save lives. I urge you to help save the lives of our people, our family members, our Michigan constituents, by voting yes on 539.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate all of your work on this over the years. Are there any questions from committee members? Okay, thank you so much. We are going to hear next from Dr. Frederick Vars from the University of Alabama School of Law, who is on Zoom.
Good morning. My name is Fred Vars. I'm a law professor at the University of Alabama. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of Senate Bill 539, which, as the sponsor just mentioned, would establish a voluntary do not sell firearms list. I want to start with a true story. Donna Nathan ended her life with a handgun she purchased that very same day. In the months leading up to it, she had been battling depression with the help of a loving family. She had voluntarily and repeatedly admitted herself to a psychiatric hospital for treatment specifically for suicidal thinking. In doing so, she gave up nearly all of her liberty, but she could not give up her ability to purchase a firearm. She hated guns, but that's what a Google search told her was the most effective means. And right before it showed her the closest gun shop. Katrina Breeze, Donna's daughter, believes that her mother would have signed up and put her name on a do not sell list to prevent her own gun purchase and would still be alive today. Donna Nathan is not alone. Suicide claimed the lives of 1,530 Michigan residents in the most recent year for which data are available, 2023. 56% of those deaths involved a firearm. Gun suicides get less attention than mass shootings, but they outnumber all types of gun homicide by thousands of victims. Our veterans are among the hardest hit. Senate Bill 539 would reduce this tragic death toll by allowing people who fear suicide to put distance between themselves and firearms. If passed, the bill would allow anyone to voluntarily and confidentially suspend their own ability to purchase firearms. This bill does not infringe on anyone's Second Amendment rights. No one is forced to participate, and no one's firearms will be taken away. This is simply not gun control, it's self-control. In a public opinion survey, a majority of gun owners supported the measure. This modest proposal has already been adopted in 5 politically and geographically diverse states: Washington, Virginia, Utah, Delaware, and Colorado. A dozen states all over the country considered similar bills in 1 year alone. A national version was introduced on a bipartisan basis in Congress. We know that this voluntary delay period has the potential to save many lives based on 3 well-established facts from the suicide literature. Suicide is very often impulsive. Firearms are by far the deadliest method. There are rarely second chances. And finally, only 10% of people who survive a serious suicide attempt go on to die by suicide. 90% choose life. So if you can just prevent that one fatal attempt at the outset, you're saving a life, not just delaying a suicide. Thousands of people want this option, including me. I have bipolar disorder. I've been suicidal. I want to sign up. An alarming 15% of people with bipolar disorder die by suicide. If I had had easy access to a gun at certain points in my life, I might already be one of them. People who have never been severely depressed cannot understand what it's like. You lose joy, you lose hope, and you lose the ability to make rational decisions. However, like almost all people with mental illness, I have periods of clarity. During these periods, I want to protect myself and my family against future dark days. I'm not alone in wanting to sign up. I anonymously surveyed 200 people receiving psychiatric care at a major medical center in the South. Nearly half, 46% of this high-risk population said they'd sign up for a proposal like Senate Bill 539. Please support Senate Bill 539. Help us help ourselves.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fars. Are there any questions? Okay. And then we are going to hear next from Dr. Brian Stork from the Michigan State Medical Society at the University of Michigan Law School.
Good morning, Chair Chang and distinguished members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Dr. Brian Stork, and I am a Muskegon-based surgical specialist testifying in staunch support of Senate Bill 593 on behalf of the Michigan State Medical Society. As you may have heard, we had a very violent weekend here in West Michigan. In Grand Rapids, a domestic violence suspect expressing suicidal ideations and armed with a firearm opened fire on 3 police officers at a traffic stop. Police officers returned fire, resulting in the man's death. Fortunately, none of the officers were seriously injured physically. Here in Muskegon, where I practice, an assailant with a firearm killed 2 people, critically injured 2 others, and in the process, injured a 4-year-old. Fortunately, the 4-year-old does not have life-threatening injuries. Imagine the trauma these 2 incidents have caused victims, family, law enforcement, healthcare teams, neighborhoods, and our respective communities. While the examples I have provided are local, across the state of Michigan, We've seen too many communities repeatedly shaken, too many families shattered, too many lives forever altered from moments of impulsiveness, despair, and access to a firearm. Statistics show that approximately 1,400 to 1,500 Michiganders die from firearm-related injuries each year. Of these, approximately 800 deaths occur to suicide with a firearm. As physicians, we do everything we can to preserve health and restore life. Every one of us who has provided care in these circumstances, however, knows the best medicine is not surgery, it's prevention. This is why Senate Bill 593 is so important. This legislation would create both temporary and indefinite voluntary do not sell lists, a tool commonly known in other states as Donna's Law. The idea behind this proposed legislation is simple. It allows individuals during periods of clarity and stability to proactively implement powerful guardrails to protect themselves and others during future times of crisis. Having heard Dr. Varz's testimony, I feel like I need to validate it. As I was discussing this proposed legislation with colleagues, one of my colleagues said to me, Dr. Stork, before I was diagnosed with bipolar disease, I was a very angry person. I couldn't control myself. I'm embarrassed to say that one day I actually broke my child's crib. Since being treated for bipolar disease, I'm doing much better. This is a colleague of mine who's very functional, who I work with on a regular basis, whose professional skills are to be admired. I just think it speaks to the fact that all of us suffer. All of us have times of crisis. All of us need times of grace. And all of us sometimes need time. Voluntary do not sell lists empower individuals to protect themselves during moments when they know they may be vulnerable. It is a compassionate, common sense, and trauma-informed approach to saving lives. For these reasons, on behalf of the Michigan State Medical Society, I strongly urge your support of Senate Bill 593. Passing this legislation will bring much needed peace of mind to Michiganders facing moments of crisis and will go on to save lives. Thank you again, Senator Chang and members of the committee, for your attention and for the opportunity to testify today.